And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be watching us from. And welcome to our live stream this morning. My name is Cora. I'm originally from Nigeria, but I live in the US with my family. I'm a registered nurse and also a digital business owner. And today is a very special one because we have a special guest in our midst to come here and answer most of your questions. Some people have been reaching out to me asking me so many questions. So today, I have a very special guest that's gonna answer all your questions. And and if you have more questions to ask, you can you can do that. So I'm gonna pass the stage to my colleagues so that they can introduce themselves too, and then we're gonna kick off. Okay, Esther, can you introduce yourself to us?
Okay, thank you so much, Cora. Good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Esther. I'm originally from Cameroon. I am a mother and I live here in the US. So we are here to give you people a little information because we have a special guest that she is here, a coach, a mentor, a business partner that she's here to answer every question that you people have been asking us. So stay tuned and don't go away.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I am Ida, originally from Ghana, but currently living in the UK. I'm a PhD student and also a digital business owner. And I'm so happy to have Coach on today's live.
Okay, thank you for your for that brief introduction. So right now, are you guys ready? Are
Yes.
you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so right now I'm gonna bring our special guest to the house. Welcome, Dorothy. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you. Can you please briefly introduce yourself to us, Dorothy?
Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Hey, beautiful ladies. How are you? Thank you for
Good.
inviting me here. And my name is Dorothy Nakalima, and I'm originally from Uganda. I'm a mom, a wife, and a proud digital business owner. I'm a former nurse. I'm a former anti-money laundering analyst. Oh my god, I have a lot. I was entrepreneur before even. So, anyways, that's a little bit about me. We will go further
Oh,
when
yeah.
it's my time. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorothy, for that brief introduction. So right now we're gonna dive into some of the questions we have.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? Dorothy, are
I'm
you
ready.
ready for us? Okay, so the first question is, Dorothy, can you tell us what attracted you to the online business, and how has it differed from the other opportunities you've seen out there?
Wow. Wow, that's really a wonderful question. So, it's like what attracted me to start this kind of a business.
And
Anyways,
how is this one different from other ones that you have like maybe ventured into before?
okay, first and foremost, what attracted me to start this kind of a business is my kids, because I was dropping them at very early in the morning, around 6 a.m. and pick them 10 p.m. So basically, picking him sleeping, like dropping him sleeping. So however much we were sleeping in the same house, um, they were not seeing me physically. Most especially my young boy, he was not seeing me as a person physically. So I decided to search for something I can do online. And of course, I landed on a lot of things. And I tried. It's not that I just landed one time, one day straight away on this online business. No, I really tried as a businesses, as an entrepreneur. So the day I discovered that all my professions I have, they're all, I was trained to be employees. So for me to be my own boss, I have to find it on way and train it myself. Nobody's gonna train. Actually, there's no school where they can train you to be your own boss. Nowhere. So you just have to train that on your way. But all my professions here in the US, I realized that for me to start up my own business, it's gonna take me like a lot of money to start up a business. It could be like 10,000 plus of dollars. And I'm like, I really want to start up something. At the same time, I don't have money to start up the business, that huge capital. And on top of that, even if you go to bank, the craziest thing, banks, they can give you a loan when you're unemployed, but when you want to start a business, they cannot give it to you. To me, it's like, what does that mean? It's kind of like they are secured when you have a daily, like your monthly or weekly paycheck, knowingly that, or every week or every month is he or she's gonna pay us this. But this is a business which is a risk. They don't know how it operates, they don't know if it's gonna sustain, so they cannot. So that means anybody who has a business out there, if it's not online, even if it's a traditional business, I salute you guys, because it is not something easy, because I tried even myself before even landed on this opportunity. But they are all, what was kicking me out, it was the capital. So when I landed on this opportunity, and I'm like, the capital, it wasn't that crazy. And on top of that, we had a system whereby it is going to help me a lot of things. For example, when I was to start up my own business, however much I was announced, I couldn't start up a hospital here. It is super expensive. I was in anti-money laundering. It needs a lot of capital for you to come up with your own, like company or something like that. So, but for you still, however much you have those experience, then you have to hire people. You have to hire the supervisors, the managers, the tech people, because you cannot do everything by yourself. And you have to rent a office. Before you know it, it's really a lot. And that is one of my main reasons why I even started to look into the online world, because that means I'm not gonna pay rent. I can work in the comfort of my home. And the second thing, I'm like, okay, I work on my pace, because it's just on laptop and internet. So whenever I am, even if I'm not in the comfort of my home, even if I'm on a vacation, I can still earn. And that's when I decided to search something I can do online. And while searching, like any other business, I just landed on it, and I did my due diligence. I paid my $149. By the way, however much I was talking about capital, there's no business for free. You're not going, even if you go to school, you cannot go for studies for free unless you go for sponsorship. But even sponsorship, you pay for it. You know how to pay? You pay for it, however much you're not going to pay the cash. Oh, you have to pay so that your results can take you there. That means you have those sleepless nights. That is your capital for you to get that sponsorship. So by the end of it, there's nothing for free. And most especially if you're starting, guys, you are starting a business, you're not given a job. So anything like starting, it means you have something to do. You have to put something down. So I paid my $149. I landed on this opportunity. I searched everything about it. It is good that it was refundable. So to me, it was a risk-free, and I paid it. I did my own research, because by then my coach and my mentor, I'm like, these people are already doing this business. I need my due diligence. So I just paid it. I did my due diligence, because they gave me 30 days to get this money back. And then I just actually, even I remember the videos were just 3 hours. So I watched my videos explaining each and everything, how this business operates. I put everything down for myself, and I started to do my due diligence. I went to Google, I searched everything, and I'm like, okay, this is the best business I'm going to go in. And the best thing why I even sticked on it, and I decided, and it ended up me even quitting my jobs within 9 months. We will go there later. It's because I am building a generational wealth. So other businesses, however much you are your own boss, let me give an example. Like, driving Uber, you are self-employed, but one day, one time, when Uber is not there, you're not working, you know? So like even you have no job. So for me, the opportunity I landed on in this business, it's like I'm building a generational wealth. And whereby in my professions, there is no way I can get my academic papers and give them to my kids when I'm not there. Like they cannot use them. They have to go the same way how I did it to get mine. And at the end of the day, they will still going to live a paycheck, you know? So to me, I was like, I need to break this financial, you know, struggle in my family, whereby my kids, great grandkids, you know, generations to come will never go through what I went through. It's not all about going to school, after school, look for that corporate job and then start, you know, that hectic life. Before you know it, it's retirement. You didn't save, you didn't invest. And for me, that is one of my biggest reason that when I paid the 149, I saw the compensation plan whereby it can go, it is a passive income that even if I'm not there, even if I'm there, like I will still be earning. And to me, that was my biggest why I'm like, this is the right business for me. Because at the end of the day, I just sat down and I'm like, I've been working for almost 15 years, but I cannot spend even a year without working and I can still live my lifestyle. But now this is where I'm building a business whereby that time it's coming, it doesn't matter that I can spend 1 year without working, but I can still afford my lifestyle and my kids and the generations to come. So to me, I don't say going to school it's bad. Guys, go to school because that is the process for you to become your own boss. You know, you have to go to school and get some you know, some little documents on how you can, you know, start up your own business. Because if you don't go to school, at the end of the day, still it really depends. Being an entrepreneur, me, I'm a nurse, but I'm in online business. I didn't do the nursing actually. I'm the AML analyst. I had to, you know, like I had to quit all those jobs. But those are the academic documents I have. And one day I sat down, I'm like, I wish I landed on this business. I would have not gone even to school because all of those years, I would have been a billionaire by now. But here with my profession, oh my God, the only thing they can pay you as an employee, one is to fire you. Two, there is that time which is coming when you're clocking retirement, they feel you're very expensive to them, and now they want to hire little kids, you know,
Yeah.
whereby they don't have that much demanding, you know.
Yeah.
And three, there is that, you know, we always say, oh, we're going to get that retirement package. I have seen people on their retirement package whereby they cannot even pay their rent, you know. So but this is a business whereby there's some levels you reach and you're going to be paid a minimum, like a minimum of $5,000. So it really, for me, it broke my mind when I saw that, and I'm like, yes, I'm in for this and I'm not going anywhere. That's
Going
why when
anywhere.
I started it,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Wow.
much for that well
Yeah.
explained answer. Thank you so much. Okay,
Yeah.
Esther, do you have any question for
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
guest?
What was your biggest challenge or fear when you first started, and how did you overcome it?
Come again?
What was your biggest challenge or fear when you first started, and how did you overcome it?
How did I overcome my biggest challenge when I started?
Yeah,
Wow.
and fear. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't remember my challenge, but I'm going to try because my success is too much to remember my challenges. But if I get to remember, let's pray that I have some. Um, but one of my biggest fear is that I wasn't a tech savvy and I didn't know anything. I've like never done something online. The one I tried, it was this thing of Amazon, and it didn't work out, but it
Mhm.
was totally different because this business, when I started the business, I saw that Amazon was online, but this is having a lot of technical issues done by the team in the back, like without me coming in. But for the other thing of Amazon, it was something else. And I was just afraid of that, like having a website. How am I going to do the online, like to build a business online platforms? I didn't have those, that tech on me. But to see that it was a challenge, but a challenge whereby it has a solution. They were providing, actually it's not they are providing, even still to date, they provide a video based training. They're going to provide a training. Once they unlock your training, it has all whatever things you feel like challenges. It's like you did not go through the training. So for me, those challenges came in of being afraid. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? And even guess what, the website, I'm not the one to build it. There's a technical team has to do that for me. But I was just afraid because I have to be with the website, I have to be with this, I have to do this. And at the end of the day, it's because I did not sit down and go through my training step by step. And the other thing is, I was provided a coach and a mentor. So whatever challenges I was going through, my coach was there, my mentor was there. And the thing is, these are the people, they have ever been there before me. So whatever challenges I'm facing, they had a solution right away. So that
Mhm.
was the best part of the business. That to me, that's why I told you my challenges. I really didn't. I don't remember a lot because the challenges I had, it was all about the technical issues. That because well, I'm in the other field of whereby you use a computer, but they are best, these best things you do, sending an email, those kind of things. But these tech things whereby now you're running an ad, with a certain media or anything, and you have a website, you have a email campaign. So all those things, I'm like, how am I gonna do it by myself? Because you are telling me it's my own business. That means what I had in mind, that anything mine, everything, it has been me. So,
Yeah.
and that was my biggest worry. But once I booked my call, and then my coach explained each and everything, whereby my actual main job by then, before I became a coach, it was to go through, it was like to get back to the clients, to the customers, because they build a funnel for you, everything is in the funnel. So your main job as a business owner is to get back to them once they come into your funnel. And it's like a 20%, and the system is going to do the 80%. So for me, to me, it was my challenge, but it has a solution at the same time.
Yeah.
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 Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you.
Dorothy.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
Ida, what do you have any question for our coach?
Yes, just a short one. So, Coach mentioned that her success made her forget even her challenges. And I was just hoping she could throw more light on how this business has impacted her personally and financially. How has the business impacted your life, Coach?
Oh, all right. Thank you so much. Sure. Wow. This business, first and foremost, when I started my business a year, like I've been in this business for like now 2 years. I made actually 2 years in July. I can't forget that day. It was 14th of July. That's when I started my business. So I just made 2 years. And my first year in the business, it was 7 months in the business for me to start earning like five figures. That is 10,000 and above. And to me, it was really a very big achievement. However much I was making it to my other jobs, but you just have to remember these are two jobs. But now I'm making this amount in one, right? One business. But the other one, there are two jobs. And on top of that, I was trading in a lot of time for me even to make that 10,000, you know? So,
Mhm.
and to that extent, I'm like, if I wake up at 4 a.m., preparing my kids and everything, take them to the daycare at 6 a.m. I have to be at work at 6:30, and from 6:30 to around 2:30, and then I go to my second job at 3 up to 10 p.m. So all this time I'm trading in just for money. But at the end of the day, when it comes to my health, because I had already developed a back pain, a very severe back pain, and my doctors were recommending me to stop working or going even for an operation, because they're telling me all this came because of the work environment. So now I'm making it, but at the same time, I'm developing diseases. I'm developing healthy conditions. So
Mhm.
on top of that, the way I make it is the way I spend it in bills, and at the end of the day in taxes, because this is where I had to pay 2 daycares. Actually daycare and a babysitter. I had to go to my babysitter was picking up my boy at around 5:30 p.m. And then that means I have to pay every month. I'm paying the the daycare, and then the babysitter from 5:30 to 10 p.m. And what is funny, I don't know other states. I'm in California, but you know what is funny, that these people, even if they just take a kid for 30 minutes, you pay full day. Like you pay full
Wow.
day. So I
Yeah.
had to pay twice when it comes to daycare fees. And before I know it, they were almost taking about $5,800 in just daycare fees. So it means the way I'm making it now, you have rent, you have your, the domestic things. At the end of the day, you're really working hard, you're making the money, but you spend it the way how you're making it. So to me, I'm like, okay, I can make this 5,000, this 10,000 in the comfort of my home, whereby now I'm not going to pay extra. So that means I'm saving. So I
Mhm.
looked into a lot of things, and on top of that, my kids are not gonna like miss me, because I'm going to be available. Okay. So and to me it was a very big achievement. So when I made 9 months in the business, and I'm even like, okay, I'm going to quit all my jobs. They were good paying jobs, but even people around me, one of a friend back home, he even called my mom, is like one of our stepmothers, and is like, you know what, Dorothy is going to run mad, because they're like, a day of my 2 jobs, you can make about like $90 a day, like an hour, sorry. And is like, you cannot quit that kind of a job because my
Yeah.
other job, they were paying me about 55, and the other one they were paying about 40 something. So it is closely 100 an hour, and they're seeing me that I'm quitting those kind of jobs. And I'm like, okay, but the way I make it, it's the way I spend it. For them, they saw me like a crazy person. You know, they had even to call the police. They had even to take my boy. They wanted even to take my boy away, because they thought that there's something going on with me. I'm not in my right, like condition. But it was because of the way I was making it, the way I spend it. And when I landed on this business, I didn't even tell anybody that I'm starting up online business. So they didn't know me that I'm doing something. So they just so that is actually the best part of our business, that you don't have to convince friends and family. Our system does that for you. So they didn't know that I even have something. So they didn't know how I'm going to survive. And some of them, they saw me starting, but they are like, they've scammed you. They couldn't tell me physically, but their facial expression could tell. you know
Yeah.
I saw that facial expression. That's why I even didn't even tell them the success, what are my steps, blah blah. So they just saw me quitting, and they're like, this lady's running mad. So that's when I was like, you remember the business you told me about? So this is a business I'm doing, and this is a business giving me this much. And actually, the people I know who are in the business, they entered because of my success. I didn't convince them. I didn't even tell them anything because I knew that these people, when you start to talk about online thing, it's a scam.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm
Mhm.
like, however much I was scammed, however much I'm skeptical, but at the end of the day, my skepticism, it's not gonna take away the life I'm going through. It's not gonna take away that financial freedom. It's me and my pillow and my bedroom knows what I'm going through at the end of the day. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, if they're gonna scam me, it's fine, it's okay, but I've tried. Okay, so that's how I ended up and started my business, and then they just joined when they started to see. And I remember one of them, they told me that when you show us your first check, we will come and join. And for me, what I did not show them. Even my first check came, I'm like, I don't have to prove anybody, because I'm not the one who is
Yeah.
going through the financial freedom. If they reach that extent to look for that change, they will look for it. So there is no need of
Yeah.
me proving somebody. It's like proving somebody that I'm going to school. I'm going because of me. I'm the one who is going to even succeed more. So why do I have to prove you that I go to school? Okay, at the end of
Mhm.
the day, when I start to work, I look for that corporate job. I'm the one who is going to benefit. Are you going to be? You're not going to benefit from it. So I'm like, I'm the one to benefit. Let my results talk, but I'm not going to talk to anybody around me. So, and that is my biggest one, is like to quit my jobs. I always said to fire my boss, because I've never felt the way I felt when I'm writing that resignation letter. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I've never felt that happiness. I think I can relate it when you're a parent, when you give the baby your first time, that happiness. That's the happiness
Mm-hmm.
I had when I fired my boss, because bosses
Wow.
used to fire us employees, and I'm like, what?
Yes.
I'm now firing a boss, and I'm firing a boss, not that I'm even going to look for another job or I get another job, but it's now my business. So that means I'm going to be starting firing, not to fire me,
Yeah.
So that is one of my biggest one. And the other one, it was that my doctors were recommending me to go for surgery, and but they're telling me, if you don't go for surgery, you have to stop working for 6 months, because your work environment is the one developing this as you are on the treatment. I couldn't stop it by then, because I was afraid, how am I gonna survive without me working for 6 months? I have kids, I'm by myself here. So I'm like, how am I going to survive? And that's when I decided to, actually, that is the time I decided to start such something. So when I landed on this opportunity, by then I was getting the injections, like pain injections, almost, the pain was really severe, whereby sometimes you couldn't walk, you couldn't sit, you just have to lie down. So so for you to release, to get some relief from that pain, then they had to give me that pain injection. So I was on those pain injections, but even the doctors were telling me, we don't know when you're gonna to end it, but we just need you, either you go for surgery or you have to stop working. Those are the only two options you have.
Hmm.
And stop working for like 6 months while on this treatment. So, but I couldn't stop, and I decided to go to the third option of injections, but they don't know when I was going to end them. But when I started online, then I'm not at those other jobs whereby developing me these healthy conditions, and I didn't go for surgery, and I'm fine, because I've even
Wow.
spent like a year without going to those regular daily jobs. I'm just working in the comfort of my home, doing my exercises on time, and I'm like, okay. So it was really a very big achievement and success to me. All
Hmm.
right, back to
Wow.
you.
Awesome.
Amazing. Wow.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. Okay, so
Yeah.
my last question for you is what advice
Hmm.
will you give to African immigrants who feel stuck in their traditional jobs or hesitant about trying online business?
I can just tell them to wake up. They're still sleeping.
Oh yeah.
To be
I
honest,
know.
they're still sleeping. The reason why I tell you they are still sleeping, when COVID came, we were hearing it in China. It came here in the US. People in Africa, they thought, those are for those people. And before they knew it, it's there. But I just remember that time of COVID. They used to tell us, shop things, try to store the food, blah, blah, blah. Till the time reach whereby you go to the store when you have to make a line. And you go inside, you look for water, you couldn't find it. You know, so
Yeah.
we were sleeping when they tell us COVID is coming, COVID is real. We thought, they're just, these people, AIDS came, this came, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't know that COVID, it was really taking over the world, So the reason why I say that they're still sleeping, it's that if the good example is that one of the good example is that one for COVID. Okay, that is the good example. And anybody who is just if you're still that you're skeptical, you feel like you're still at the traditional, having a traditional business, it is okay. If you're really owning it, it's fine. But what I want you to remember is that traditional job, can you is it a passive income for you? The traditional job is good, but you have to think about it that if you're owning a restaurant, it's a traditional job. But this is the scenario for you as a person to make this money, or to even make money into your restaurant. You have to be physically in that place for you to make money, or you have to hire somebody in that place for you to make money, because they have to cook that food, blah, blah, blah. At the end, before you know it, however much you have these marketing strategies, or DoorDash will come and pick your food and take it to your customers, but still you have to be physically in the place, because this food is not going to cook by itself, or you have to hire somebody there. So that means whenever you are not available, you have to hire somebody to cook that food, so that your restaurant can still be, operating, or you can still make money out of it. So, and in hiring person, it means it's a spending still money. And when you're starting up a business, it's not good to start spending like crazy, because the business, it's not yet stabilized. So you have to first put things together for you to reach on an extent whereby you can start to hire people. And in the traditional business still, you have to think about when you are not there one day, one time, will your kids or your great grandkids, will they still survive on this traditional business? We have seen a lot of businesses when parents are gone, the kids cannot sustain it. Most of the times they're going to sell it away. And it means all your efforts, all people out there, if you started a business, you know what I mean. The hardest period, that's you starting, so that time of starting a business, at the end of the day, now your effort, your kids are just throwing it away, so. But for the online business, this business, you're not just doing it by yourself. First of all, you're not looking for people. You don't have to be physically in the place for you to make money. You are doing with you're meeting people globally and in the comfort of your home. But with the traditional business, you either have to be in one location, or if it's your state, but for you even to maintain it, that means you have to be with a lot of locations, or physical locations, for you to make it. But with online, you just use these media platforms whereby they can go further, they can go where you cannot reach. And in any business in the world, you have to be with three things. We call it the sponsor, coach, and mentor. Because however much you have a coach, however much you have your mentor, but you don't have sponsor, that is a person who reach places where you cannot reach. So that means however much you have a traditional business, your sponsor is going to be maybe a television, right? And this television or radio is just local. you know. So if you want to go global, then you have to come into the tech world, the digital world, or the online world, whereby now you let the media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, you use all those platforms, but you use the business side of it, and the business is almost a different world, you know. Me, when I started the business, I didn't know that Facebook even has a business suite. There's an app totally for only people for business, you know. It's not this usual one. So to me, that's I could advise that you just have to wake up, and you see things are growing like crazy. Look at here in San Francisco here, people, like, they started to do the self-driving cars. They started to work. That means if you're a taxi driver, Uber driver, I just heard that even the Tesla, they are going to, I think, there is something coming in. It's a taxi driving self something for these Tesla people.
Self-driving.
So it's a lot of things changing, going online. When COVID came, a lot of people, a lot of them lost their jobs. And to be honest, everybody, they are now going online. So for example, if somebody was having, if they have an office, they laid off like over 100 people, because now they just remain with the little people, like small kind of a group whereby they're all working online. So that means if you're a cleaner, your job is gone. Landlords or landladies, now you no longer have people, the tenants, because these people are working in the comfort of their homes. They're doing like remotely, you know. So if you have a restaurant, this office, I believe they were, you know, delivering food to the office, to the people working there. You lost those clients. So it means everything is going digital. So you just have to wake up and start something for yourself digital. Or if you have a traditional, just make sure how can you turn it into digital, because that's where the world going, you know. Yeah, that is it. And back to you.
Yep. Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they must have asked this question, but as an African immigrant, what challenge did you face in starting your own business in the diaspora, and how did this community help you overcome those?
Wow. As in an immigrant, first and foremost, when we come to these countries, I don't know why our aunties, uncles, they don't tell us the reality. You know, I believe you guys, if you're anywhere, you're watching us, or you're going to catch this replay, that's the reality truth, that most of our people, they don't tell us the reality. They don't tell us that there's fire here. And the reality kicks in when you're in these places. So for me, when I came, I thought that, okay, um you know, looking for greener pastures, it is something else. So everybody coming to look for greener pastures, but before you know it, this is where I'm like, I just sat down. The biggest challenge we immigrants have is that we are coming when we are already old in these countries. It's not like we're still kids, you know. And on top of that, we are expecting a lot out of these countries. And we expecting a lot. To get a lot is going back to school. And going back to school, now put yourself, you a mom or you a dad, maybe 30 years plus, and now you are an accountant, but the environment you came in, they're all telling you have to go to study nurse. So now you migrating. It's not that you migrated from your home country to here, but now even career wise, you have to migrate, and you migrate by force, because that is where money is, you know. So it doesn't matter if you want that sector, if you don't want it, but they're telling you that's where money is, and you came to look for money, right? So you have to migrate from your career by force, and then go to the industry, to the health industry sector. Going to the industrial, like the nursing sector or the healthy sector, what you have to put in mind, if you're an RN, I think it's about 4 years, right? Closely to 5. And you 30, I'm just giving an example of 30, okay? Now you're 30, you're going for your 5 years, let's say 5 years, those are 35 years. You're a mom, you're a parent, you have responsibilities, but you forgot that all these 5 years, it's a student loan because no immigrant can pay that money, right? Unless you go and search for this sponsorship. I don't know how it works, but to my experience, if you're an immigrant, not yet granted like a citizen or a permanent citizen, nobody's gonna grant you. No, you have to get them, you know. So now that means you have to wait till they grant you, and so that you go. But till when, right? You have to put in till when, unless for those who are lucky came with maybe they are permanent residents or anything like that, or come to study. But even if you came to study, there's that student loan you have to pay. So this is student loan, maybe 70,000 or 60,000, whatever. And now you start to work. So when you start to work, what you have to put in mind, you are not going to do anything your first 10 years. Trust me, because you have to pay your student loans, you have to take care of yourself. On top of that, you have family to take care of. And on top of that, at the same time, the reason why you went to school is to have that, to have that good life. And the way you're going to get the way you want the good life, maybe to afford that mortgage, So before you know it, the way you make it is the way you're spending it. You get the point? So once you start to spend it like that, and now you wake up when it's too late, whereby you are, remember, 35 now plus this 10 years, you're already 45. And now at 45, you start to still to realize that, or have been in America for 10 years, 15 years, I don't have any investment apart from the mortgage I have. But the mortgage you have, you forgot that you are only one paycheck away to lose that mortgage. So, but before we all see everything, everything, kids are growing in front of our eyes, but now your kids, they are going to go through the same situation because you didn't prepare. And now this is where we start to traumatize our kids, that at the age of 16 they're going into student loans. Before they know it, they're done with their studies. And when they're done with their studies, the first thing for them to think is to start to pay the student loan. That means this person is done to study, but I think they've already ate this money. Like, they have to work like 6 years, 5 years ahead, working to pay this debt. That means all those 6 years, these little kids, they're doing that. And at the end, before they know it, they're getting frustrated. That's why most of immigrants, and it's actually not even only immigrants, I believe even other people, you're going to see they end up, the kids start to go on drug. They start the drug addiction because they feel like they went to school. They feel like they are working for the government. They're not working for themselves. And for me, I didn't want my kids to go through that. And that's why I'm like, if I'm in America, if I'm going back to school, I need to go when I have to work for myself. If I go for anything, that's something, it has to be, I'm the one to benefit first, not anybody else. So what I advise our immigrants is that you just have to get something you as a person can do. However much you went for that nursing sector or anything, any profession, even if you're a lawyer, just make sure that you have something you can start. Just make a strategy whereby your kids will not go for the student loans, because at the end of the day, the student loans, those the things which are traumatizing our kids. Because Africa, no kid can go for a student loan at 16 years, 17 years. But these are the people going now in college. Mom, you cannot afford it. But you were nurse and you've been working for 15 years, but you can't afford the student loan. You cannot afford the tuition whereby the kid has to go for the student loan. And at the same time, I always say it's all about strategizing. So if you go for that profession, make sure you have a target. If it's 5 years, you just say, my 5 years, after 5 years, I have to go and start up thing like this. Go start up your own business. Even if your kid, kids are learning from us. Me, my boy, he used to tell me, Mom, and he calls me once I don't respond or I say wait, he's going to wait. But it reached on an extent whereby he he told me, you know what, Mom, I need a small laptop for myself, because he was seeing me every time I'm on a laptop busy. So one day we just bought a little laptop and I gave it to him, and he's like, whenever I used to call him, he's like, Mom, I'm busy. Because I used to say that, I'm busy, wait, I'm busy, wait. It's like, but Mom, you're busy every time on your job, on your business. What can I do? I'm like, wait. So now it was my turn to see. So what does it tell you? That sis, whatever your kids are seeing you, what you're doing, trust me, that's what they're going to do. If you're an entrepreneur, you're making them, you're like guiding them that you study and go for and get a job. It's not enough. You have to be your own boss. You have to get that business for yourself. So I believe my son is going to be the same thing, because he is young. He's just 5 years, but there is that time where he's going to reach. Is like, but Mom, can I do what you're doing? What are you doing? Where can I help? Because he is seeing me that is what I do. And trust me, these kids are they are like, the minds are growing like crazy. Our grandparents, the way our moms thinks, they are not the same. The way we think, it's not like our mom thinks. So that means, and when it comes to the generations of our kids, they're really crazy, because this is now where the AI is going to take over automatically. So that means if I leave an online business for them, they will even make it more successful, because now they are thinking more, like they're thinking crazy, like not the way I was. There are those ages, like my grandies, they did not even, there's something like online, when my parents, they kind of knowing it, but not the way we know right now. That means for our kids, I believe the kids, like my grandkids, will never they will not know that they were even people driving car by themselves. I believe the self-driving cars, they will be taking over. So when you tell them, oh, you sit and drive, they will see it that they'll see it like something whereby they can do accidents, whereby for us, we are even afraid to sit in the self-driving cars. We feel like, I cannot sit there without a driver, So it is really like, it's changing, and it's all about having your own business. But what you have to put in mind, even if back home, I'm from Uganda, but all the doctors I've seen in Uganda, all of them, they have a side hustle clinic for them. They have their own clinic, even if you find a teacher, and at the end of the day, this teacher, you're going to find them, they have some other private students they are coaching privately. That is their own job. Before they know it, this person started a school, but they started through coaching, So it's going to be the same thing as here, that you just have to look for something you can start, because at the end of the day, the paycheck cannot make a generational wealth. So if you don't want your kids to go through what you went through, you just have to change. But if you think you're changing through getting a second job, you're not changing, because you're still going into a paycheck. You just have to look for a change, whereby the change, it has to be totally different of what you're doing. You have to try something else for you to get a different results. Okay? That's my advice.
That is it. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. Ada, can you ask your last question so we can
wrap up? Yes.
up?
Thank you so much, Coach. So, for someone who is interested in getting started in this business, I would like you to walk that person through the first steps to take and how they can start.
All right. Okay. So if you're interested, if you're there and you're like, oh, what are these ladies talking about? I believe you're seeing our screen. There are websites there Can you bring back all of us, please? All right. So, are you seeing all these websites on the screen? Okay. Whenever you are watching us with whatever page you're watching us from, just inbox any of the person, or you can just go to those websites on the screen, type in your name and email address. Okay. Once you type in the name and email address, there's a video explaining, it's a webinar explaining how this business operates. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, there's a $149 fee, but the first video, you don't have to pay. It's you actually explaining why do you even have to pay this 149, which is refundable. So if it is something you feel like you want a change, actually this business is for those who are really fed up, and they are looking for change. You're tired of living that paycheck and you feel like I need to get a change in my life. Do you want to get a financial breakthrough? So if you're looking for those kind of things, then this business is for you. So you just have to watch that the webinar on the website, watch it to the end. If you have any question, inbox any of us. And actually, once you go to the website, you will get any of us here automatically and get to talk to you one-on-one. But I advise you, before you contact anybody, first watch that video. It has all the detailed information you will love to know. And once you're done, of course, at the end of it, it will tell you to pay $149 if you want to proceed. So you just have to pay $149. And once you pay the $149, wow, we will add you in our global community, the biggest community in the world. So it's all billionaires, millionaires, business owners. And once we add you there, you will get to see even before you start. That's why we make it refundable. So once you're done, we're going to add you in that amazing group. Once we're done to add you there, you will even have to a pre-coaching videos. Once you pay the $149, you're going to get a link and a password. Congratulating you, get that link, get that password. You're gonna click in the link, type in the password, and watch what we call the pre-coaching videos. It's a maximum of 3 hours. That's what we did. That's what I did for me to fire my boss in 9 months. It's exactly the thing I did. So after watching them, actually, when you watch those videos, you will have all your answers. You don't even have sometimes to talk to us. You have all your answers. And now your next step, if you're still skeptical, just go and start do your due diligence. Go to Google. Actually, the business, it has been there for 50 years. So anything 50 years, it can tell you. It's just now imagine, before even the online came, the digital, the business was existing. It's just now because the digital came in, now everything is going digital. So anything whereby it's sustained for those years, it can tell you, right? And that's why we make it refundable, because we need you to do your own due diligence before you actually start. So those videos will explain each and everything, the compensation plan, how this business operates. So if it is something you feel you want to try out, then you can book a call with your coach. The reason for your call with the coach is to break down whatever you did not understand in those videos. Our main reason is to make sure that before you start, you've understood each and everything. We don't want you to come and start and you're like, oh, I wish I knew this, they didn't explain it. No, that's one of the reasons why we even don't want us to tell you direct. You go watch it yourself, because I might not tell you everything in those 3 hours what they're explaining. I might tell you some things and like, oh, and the other thing, what you have to put in mind, something might be working for you when it's not for you. But as I mentioned earlier, it's just you to wake up, because when COVID came, it's not that, oh, COVID is for me, it's not for you. So it's just that time whereby you just have now to do it by force. That time is coming. Let's not deny ourselves. So that's why now people in tech industry, they're working like their industry is booming like crazy, because that's AI is now taking over everywhere. When you look at now, they've already developed apps whereby this app, it can work as a supervisor, as a manager, like everything. That means supervisors, HR managers, blah blah. You're losing your job. You lost. So it's just you to wake up and see what you're gonna do. If it is something for you, then proceed. If it's not, go start look for something. You're gonna start online. If you have an existing business, try to make it how you can make it to be online. And being online, it means global. It's not, we are not talking about the online whereby you're just local in your city or your village. No, we are talking about global. The global business, that's where you can build a generational wealth. You cannot build it in just a local, like a local village or your local city. You cannot. You have to go global. So that is my advice, my dear. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Dorothy, for your time. It was really an awesome session. Thank you so much for the answers you gave us. And so if you're out there and you're looking for something to do, this is where to check. This is where it's happening. Okay. Um thank you so much for the people that's watching us live right now, and also to the people that's gonna watch the replay. We say a very big thank you to you. And does anybody has any other thing to say? If not, we call it a day.
Don't only watch and listen, take action and see how this business can also better your life, so that you can start this year 2025 that is coming, 2 months to go. So this is the best time so that you start the year in another dimension. So don't hesitate. See the website on the screen, as our coach ever mentioned. So just take the necessary action and see how you too can join this community, and we are gonna be with you all the way.
Okay.
Yes, and thank you so much, Coach Dorothy, for coming and for sharing your wonderful journey with us. I believe you out there who listen to Coach, you are inspired, and we hope to see you on the inside. Thank you for watching.
Yes. Thank you, Dorothy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Hi, Coach. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
I know.
Mhm.
Thank you so
So
much.
guys, can you end the live? I can see Cora